Good evening, Philippines. It's Wednesday, April 17, 2013. Welcome to General Assignment. On the show tonight is independent senatorial candidate Ricardo Penson. Also with us is our special co-host and anti-smuggling advocate Jeffrey Patawaran. We'll be talking about smuggling and how it seems to thrive in the government bureaucracy. I'm your host, Miguel Gil. Good evening, Mr. Penson. Welcome to General Assignment. Sir, the past week or so, you've come out very vocal against smuggling, in particular oil smuggling. In fact, you seem to have linked certain ranking administration officials to at least possibly negligence or incompetence regarding the mess, the smuggling mess.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, we were actually just waiting for the government themselves to make a statement on the oil prices and the fact that smuggling plays an important role in this. And also we have two of the major players in the energy sector already claiming that it was becoming very difficult for them to compete in an industry where smuggled products were included as part of the mix. The Secretary of Finance made an announcement that close to almost 9 million barrels of oil, or the equivalent of such, up to 40 billion pesos is smuggled into the country.
I think the amount, the volume is to the tune of about 1 every 3 barrels of petroleum product in the Philippines is actually smuggled.
Yes.
To what do you attribute such? This is not just widespread smuggling. This is practically the norm. If we're talking about over 30% of the oil that we use here is actually smuggled. So
yes. Actually, as far back as a decade ago, when Shell was slapped a fine for under-declaration of values, Shell threatened to pull out of the country unless the government removes in the equation smuggled oil, or the players of the smuggled oil. And the government was caught offhand. That's something like 25 billion that was being slapped on Shell. And apparently the previous administration had a role in this. It was identified, if you recall, close towards the election. Somebody associated with the past president's husband was involved in it, in Subic, and a figure was given as to the amount of it, but nothing happened. And comes this new dispensation, and the president appointed an anti-smuggling czar, the same guy that was appointed to be the anti-crime czar, and still nothing happened. Now, just because there's a perception that the president is popular, everybody's hiding under his skirt and saying, you can't touch us. So what's this? The people are just supposed to take it, bite the bullet, and suffer. This is not right.
Okay. When you say smuggling, basically, I guess if the opportunity is there, there will always be unscrupulous businessmen who will get into this, who will try to smuggle whatever, oil, electronics, food, whatever. So I guess it's the control mechanisms that the government has on goods that go in and out of the country. Particularly, the Bureau of Customs always comes into the spotlight. But it's also a fact that the Bureau of Customs is one of the more incorrigible agencies of the government. And I think that's pretty much accepted, and no less than the incumbent commissioner of the Bureau of Customs, Rufy Biason, is sort of suggesting the possibility that the only way to really rid his office of corruption is to dissolve it altogether and maybe create a new one with different policies. So basically, it all boils down to corruption. Now you're running for Senate, and if you do it, you will be proposing laws. What laws do you see, if any, that can put an end to this, or at least significantly lessen the amount of corruption, at least in this one very notorious agency?
Alam mo, Miguel, we don't really need another new law We have all the good laws already in place. It's a matter of implementing the laws. Smuggling is rampant because it's very profitable. Smuggling is rampant because people make money from it. Shell and Petron both estimated that this is around 30 to 40 billion pesos a year. It
That's
is
just on
very,
oil.
very difficult to get away from a 40 billion peso addiction. No? Some people are really greedy. And it just so happens that people around the president who mouths the Daang Matuwid motto, but if there's something that they inherited from the previous dispensation, the previous government, is that what they say and what they do are two different things.
So it's sort of systemic.
Yes, it's very apparent now. Very apparent now. In fact, check this out. The first 2 months of the year, our exports are down 126 billion pesos from last year. So that means the effect of our major oil players taking a stand and saying we can't compete anymore is coming down now to the production level, to the manufacturing base. Whatever little manufacturing base we have, they're already affected now. And this is 2 months. 126 billion is a lot of money.
Okay, sir, your day job, so to speak, is that you're a businessman. And businessmen are stakeholders, are the big stakeholders in the economy. The Federation of Philippine Industries has been demanding from the various administrations that they put a stop to the smuggling because it's killing industries, local industries. The textile industries is basically in comatose now, and a lot of the local industries are dying. So how do you address it? What is the short-term solution for this? Is this just a matter of firing out the top guys there, or revamping the agencies? Because it seems to be deeper.
Well, that's a very easy thing to say, no? Revamping. But I guess with the elections coming, we can use the ballot. That's one way of doing it. The mere fact that it thrives in such a system like ours only means that the major players are dealing with the same people over and over. And who are the same people? For the last 25 years, we never changed the people in our Senate, in our Congress, in our provincial government. It's the same people over and over, which brings me back to our root, the root advocacy, which is political dynasty. Mas madali. It's so much easier for business people to deal with just a handful of families. There's already that I know you, you know me arrangement, so it is easier for them to do business. Like on smuggling, we know exactly who the person is that is involved in smuggling. I'm sure the oil smuggling, anti-smuggling czar also knows him, maybe better than most of us.
So it cascades down the generation.
For it to keep going like this. Not just generation, it cascades down to lining the pockets.
Of everyone.
It cascades down, yes, of everyone. And it cascades down to a new dispensation. Put new people there. I'm not dismantling your organization, but I'm the new boss. Something like that. And this has to end. Somehow this has to end. We cannot survive as a nation if whatever is endemic keeps repeating itself in our landscape.
Sir, the reason why I have Jeff here with me is that he has a personal experience, testimonial, because he was with the presidential anti-smuggling group before. And during this time when there was actually a redundant agency, the collections, the tariff collections, the revenues of the agencies, of the BOC, actually increased. Jeff, ano ba yung problema dun sa ahensya? Anong nakikita mo sa sistema? Ito ba, kultura natin Pilipino? Talaga bang mahilig tayo mangurakot? Certain administrations lang ba ang mahilig mangurakot talaga? Ano yung problema? Dahil kasi lagi natin na pag-uusapan, the problem is, we all know the problem and yet no one comes up with a real solution.
Number one, yung smuggling, talagang well-entrenched na sa Bureau of Customs yan. Kailangan natin siguro, yung mga taong papaupuin natin, medyo may konting tapang. Hindi yung, kasi pag masyadong mabait dyan, lalamunin ka dyan sa Bureau of Customs. Noong panahon namin, kahit lagi kami tinitira, isa sa pinakamalaking accomplishment namin is in 2009, naabot ng Bureau of Customs yung revenue collection target. For the first time, naabot ng Bureau of Customs ang kanilang target. So, ang sinasabi ko dito, merong constructive conflict between the Bureau of Customs and the anti-smuggling group.
So kailangan meron talagang redundance para para
I think,
may pressure.
Parang siguro parang Trojan horse ang sasawagin. Magpapasok ka ng parang virus doon sa isang sindikato para hindi sila masyadong mag-connive. Tingnan mo, nung nawala ang PASG for more than 2 years,
Bumalik.
tumaas ang discrepancy ng smuggled goods from yung time ni Gloria for 9 years. Yung ayon sa IMF, yung record ng IMF, 3.7 billion yung discrepancy sa record ng smuggled goods. While this more than 2 years pa lang ng administration, umabot na sa 19.5 billion. So napakalaki nung tinaas.
Pero Jeff, mukhang talagang malalakas pa impluwensya itong mga nasa likod na to. Sir, you came down hard on one administration official, and a few days later, you have something very interesting about your nephew.
Yeah, well, we have to make a move. Either as an individual, as a citizen, we have to make a move. If you really care for your country, something wrong is going on, you have to make yourself heard. We made ourselves heard. I mean, we just followed the suit of the DOF secretary. We followed the suit of the two major oil players, and then we asked for an explanation from the anti-smuggling czar. Somebody has to answer the Filipino people. Hindi pwede just because you're popular, there's no more explanation on anything that goes on. Everything here, we have never had a president that could use the media, or his people could use the media and form whatever opinion, whatever spin they want to create, and still come out Teflon clean. It's happening now. It's very difficult when somebody who knows very little is not hands-on, but puts complete trust to the people around him, and then will defend them to the hilt when they are asked, when they're tasked to explain. It becomes a real big problem for a nation like ours.
Are you saying that there's a real discrepancy between popularity and competence?
Yes. Yes. We have to call a spade now. This is the
But they're
Philippines.
using, you just said they were using strong-arm tactics against you, so they may not be as
Yes,
nice as what they would want us to believe.
I mean, I'm not exactly a small fry. I mean, I would not refer myself as a small fry. I am a taxpayer. I deserve to know where my taxes go. And when we asked the cabinet official to explain, what have you done to curb smuggling? Simple. It's your task. I want to know what you've done to stop it. In exchange, his answer was, I have a 30-year-old nephew who has several tankers. He's been doing the hauling in the hauling business for many years. The NBI came to his garage.
The NBI?
NBI came to his the anti-organized crime. Imagine that. It's a small mom-and-pop operations. My nephew and his wife run this business. Their crew was beaten up, beaten up, and brought to Paco. The trucks were left parked there, and then they had a press release which came out in a major newspaper linking them to me.
Akala ko yung mga NBI, mga abogado, they should know better than that.
Yeah, that's what we thought. Kala din natin magaling yung ating gobyerno.
Okay.